What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we got something new coming in and we got a new project, and this is going to be the beginning of it. So we're going to be putting a JDM K24A. This is a RBB, the TSX equivalent, K24A2. But the first thing we got to do is start preparing this motor to install, and we got a new part. So in this box right here, this is something I've been wanting to show you guys. I got a new sponsor for the channel. So this is from MAXPEEDINGRODS, and I'll open it up and show you guys all about it. All right, so in this box, we got an intake manifold from MAXPEEDINGRODS, but I want to show you guys what all is in the box. So we open it up, and here we have all the little bubbles. That's pretty cool, huh? Check those out. Different. Never really seen anything like those. Wow, they got a lot of snowflakes. All right. So, here it is, the new intake manifold. Check it out. Looks awesome. This fits like a TSX K24A2 as well as K20Z3, like out of 8th Gen SI. Come with a little throttle bracket. I don't know where I'm supposed to put that. It's got the extra little vacuum nipples that I think go in the bottom. I think those go right here. Overall, it looks decent. It does need a little bit cleanup on the casting on some of these little areas, but overall, I'm very happy with it, especially for the price point. So you can see, like, right here, just a little bit of the edge. You can feel it with your finger. So I'm gonna get a gasket and lay over it, but I got like a little deburring tool. I got a little deburring tool that I can use just to clean these edges up, just to make it a little freer flowing. I'm not going to port any up in the actual chamber, and this transition here feels pretty smooth, so I'm happy with that. All of these up here look fine as far as where the injectors would go in. Yeah, I guess the rest of this looks pretty good. So first off, what we got to do is we got to take this old intake manifold off, and then we can start installing that. I'm going to see if this throttle body will bolt onto that one. I don't know. I know that MAXPEEDINGRODS does sell another throttle body that does bolt onto that one, but we're going to try to use the factory one. Again, I don't know if it will or not, but we'll find out. We'll try to reuse the fuel rail, the injectors, and then probably this thermo valve over here, because it looks like it has all the revisions to put all that on it. So we'll try to put it back as if it was sort of factory. We were sitting here looking at it, and this one has obviously a vacuum port for the brake booster, and then it has the vacuum port for the PCV valve, and it also has like the port back here for the thermo valve. But then we noticed on the MAXPEEDINGRODS, it has the hose for the booster, and it has the hose for the thermo valve, and it has a spot to put the thermo valve, but it does not have a spot for the PCV valve. So that may be an issue for some of you guys, but for me, I think what I'll do is just probably do like the RBC is. Right here is where the port is on the RBC, so I'll just drill a hole and then tap it and put a brass fitting in it or something, and then it'll be fine. It'll be functional like that. We do have a 8th Gen SI here, which this manifold is supposed to be designed to fit also. And we went over and looked at it, and the hose the hose assortment is the same as it is on this K24A. So there's, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a K24A2 or the K20Z3, it's still not going to have all the hose fittings that you'll need. So there's that. All right, so this is not going to be the final install, but I figured I'd go ahead and kind of show you guys what I'm planning to do as far as installing it. So I've got the old intake off now, and this should go right on. I may have to move this power steering pump. No, it'll go on. There we go. So it fits on perfect like that. Obviously, I'd like to put a, you know, I need to put a new gasket on. It fits on really nice right here. Plenty of clearance on this motor. Let's put a couple of bolts on it and then see if the throttle body will mate up to it. All right, so for my application, I don't really plan on running the stock throttle body. I was just testing to see if the stock throttle body would work in the event that you wanted to use the stock throttle body on your K24A2 with this one is electronic, so it's like a 0708 intake. So obviously the older ones have the mechanical throttle body, and so it may be a little bit different. This one doesn't mount with the actual actuator up. It actually, on the other one, it mounts with it in this direction, but when in this direction towards the motor, it won't bolt up. So, and I knew that was a common issue before making this video, that the stock throttle body typically doesn't work, but I just wanted to try it just to see how my results, you know, were. So I do know that MAXPEEDINGRODS does sell a throttle body that does fit this intake manifold. So if you're in the need of keeping this throttle body, don't know that I would recommend this manifold unless the RBC adapter would work. But I don't have the adapter here to try to see if I can make it work. If you're looking to go aftermarket throttle body anyway, then I guess this would be a good alternative. So you can see over here, we would just have to drill and tap somewhere over in this vicinity in order to hook this PCV valve up, you know, if we wanted to use the PCV system. The hose down here that comes from the thermostat housing, the rubber line back here, it will mate up to that barb down here, and there's no problem on that. I would recommend using a worm gear clamp instead of those spring clamp that comes on it, because the fitting is a little bit smaller than the factory one, and I don't know that that spring clamp is going to put the required force on the hose to hold it. And then as far as up here, you could just run the vacuum line from here to here for your brake booster, no problem on that. And then the thermo valve, or off the stock intake, we could take that off and put it in here. I don't think we have any issue with that. I do plan to put a different fitting in this that I have in order to put a temperature sending unit for my application. So, and then I'll just put a vacuum cap over this, and the stock throttle or stock fuel rail should fit, no problem. Let's see if we can throw it on there real quick just for test fitting. All right, so I don't have an aftermarket fuel rail here to test, but with the stock injectors in here with the stock fuel rail, you can see there's quite a bit of a gap in here that's bigger than what you would find with the factory. So the factory, you can see how it has this tall stand here, like where the fuel rail sits, and it has these little Philenic spacers in here, right, that sit in here kind of between the fuel rail and the manifold. But that's quite a bit bigger space here. So just have to go get some tubing and make some spacers and get some longer bolts to be able to utilize the factory fuel rail. And like I said, I don't have an aftermarket fuel rail here that I can try right this moment. So let me see if I can come up with something just to mock this up a little bit better. All right, so again, I don't have everything here to make it work, but these are some spacers I had from another project that I had to do something similar to this while using a different brand of intake manifold. And so basically I just went to, I measured the gap here that I needed, right? And then I went to Home Depot or Lowe's or any other home improvement store, and over in the hardware section you can pick up these little pieces of tubing. This one I did have to cut it down some before on the previous car. This particular bushing was on, or piece of tubing, but I I think if I went and measured, I could go to Lowe's and repeat the process for the MAXPEEDINGRODS intake manifold. But you can see the injectors do sit down in there fairly well, and just like they're supposed to from the factory, so no complaints about this part. I'm very pleased with how the injectors fit, and I'm really pleased at how the intake fits here along with the power steering pump and the alternator. There's plenty of clearance here, so overall this part is great. Really the only things I have to complain about on this manifold was the little bit of casting like in the runners right there at the end, like where I showed you previously. A little quick deburr tool here, I'll just deburr those real quick and should be good to go. Other than that, and also the and not having a port for the PCV valve. Again, that's not that big a deal. Anytime you get into modifications, sometimes you have to do more modifications to those parts. So again, it's no big deal. And there is a port here on the manifold that I could probably run this over to, you know, but I may just go and get some taps or some plugs for some of these little extra little ports on here. So overall though, I'm really pleased with the manifold. Like I said, you just may make a trip to your home improvement store, Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever you have, and get everything that you're gonna need to make sure that you can install this on your application. So a little bit more about MAXPEEDINGRODS. MAXPEEDINGRODS sells all kinds of awesome parts, and I plan to use a lot of their parts on my upcoming build, which you'll see this manifold being used on. They sell coilovers for almost any kind of make and model, and I've heard really good things about their coilovers. I hadn't had a chance to personally use them yet, but I've heard really great things about them. I have several friends that are running MAXPEEDINGRODS coilovers, and they have zero complaints. But like I said, I plan to maybe use their coilovers. They make traction bars. They have conversion harness, like K-series conversion harness for an EG. They also have a billet shifter for a K-series. They have the throttle body, like I mentioned earlier in the video, for this intake manifold. It's a 70 mil billet throttle body. They have an EP3 style belt idler. They have catch can, and they have turbos. So I plan to use a lot of this stuff in the future, like I mentioned previously. Also, make sure you use my discount code. It's YEET1 right here, YEET1. Put that in the discount code, you'll get 15% off your order. Oh, also, anything you order on MAXPEEDINGRODS website that is in stock in their US warehouse ships absolutely free, so no shipping cost to you, so even more savings. I'm very excited to have our new sponsor MAXPEEDINGRODS as being a part of the Honda resource and being a part of the channel. So thank you MAXPEEDINGRODS for reaching out to me and setting up this. Hopefully we can definitely do some more business in the future, and like I said, I've got a whole build planned that I want to use MAXPEEDINGRODS parts for and give you guys the lowdown, the rundown, show you what works, show you what doesn't, and let you know how you can make everything run on a budget. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope to see you on another video soon. Peace.